Good afternoon. Thank you for taking the time to join me today. I would like to share a bit more of my background and the reasons why I'm running. This endeavour is not something I take lightly, and although I have many goals for this campaign, one of the most important parts of stepping up to this, to me, is encouraging people to get involved and to not be afraid of talking politics. Policy in government has a mammoth amount of influence over what your future and what your children's future will look like. We can't forget that magnitude. I believe it's time we treated politics with a bit more of an Abraham Lincoln perspective. And remember, democracy is government of the people, by the people, and for the people. A little of my background. For the past 18 years, my family and I have farmed and run small businesses in the Warrumbungle region. My husband and I both grew up on the land in the small rural community of Gloucester. Growing up, my father was a builder and my mum worked in administration and finance. They were both avid and tireless community volunteers. The highlight of my childhood was exploring the hills on horseback with my closest friends I still cherish today. Together, over the last 27 years, Graham and I have travelled, worked and volunteered across rural and remote Australia. The most memorable locations we have called home include Tennant Creek in the NT, and in New South Wales, Dungowan, Nundle, Corindai, Coolah, and now Tambar Springs. We have experienced work in many different industries: cotton, beef, tourism and hospitality, soil conservation, farmed trout, earth moving, retail, and most recently for me, over a decade in rural community development. Through these experiences and my upbringing, I have a deep and genuine love and care for rural Australia, all its people and stories, the small communities and regional centres, the landscapes and animals, and the very essence of what it means to be a rural Australian. While working for local community groups and alongside local government, I have seen many Australians and rural communities disadvantaged by centralisation, government red tape, and serious government ineptitude. I have seen firsthand the negative effects of industry and service closures, and an ever-increasing burden of restrictive rules on both industries and individuals. Is there any area of our life beyond government reach? My concern originated when entire industries were closed or heavily regulated with little regard for the consequences of those who lost farms or jobs and the cost to those families. Then when small towns started losing their banks, and essential services started closing and being centralised to regional centres, my concerns grew. It seemed rural communities spent more time voluntarily fighting their own councils and governments just to stay in existence, let alone working together to overcome challenges and toward a better future. And here we are on the cusp of an intense 5 weeks, but the start of a long game. A quest for change for regional Australia. A quest to put a minor party on the crossbench for Parkes. This seat is a known safe national seat, but we're here to say that, safe or not, people are disappointed with being intentionally or unintentionally let down, tired of being overlooked, and feeling beaten from not being heard. Is it time for change? Many might be concerned that a government with more minor party MPs would be a disaster. I'm only running because I feel we are already amidst a government disaster spanning decades, a duopoly of major parties that are serving the interests of big business and global commitments over and above everyday Australians and a safe and secure future. If I didn't feel like this disaster was costing the future of our children and their children, I wouldn't need to step up. There would be people that we would have confidence in and that we could trust to protect and ensure a safe, secure and sustainable future, but there simply isn't enough of them. I believe that you can't complain about what needs changing unless you are prepared to put your hand up to help change it. I hope that we can reach thousands of people across Parkes who share that belief too. I invite you, the people of Parkes, to consider: do you want more of the same for your family, for your job or business, and for your community? More career politicians and more party politics? More polished members of parliament but with little backbone when it comes to the values that are most important to regional Australians? What matters to me in any representative is their intentions, their ability to act on them, and whether they care. If you want someone who will say exactly what is happening on the ground, represent the people of Parkes with integrity, who will stand up, fight, and not give up, then that is what I am prepared to do. I am standing first and foremost for honesty, transparency, and accountability. And I believe the best place to fight for this is from the crossbench as a libertarian. I had never felt truly politically aligned or motivated. Let's be honest, being called a politician these days is all too often not an accolade. There were policies from many parties which I supported and many that I didn't. I was a square peg in a round hole. It is my values that drew me to the Libertarian Party, a value-based party. Small government and less interference. Less taxes, which in turn demands less government spending and more efficient and honest use of taxpayer money. Who wants to see our taxes wasted on more government logo and name changes and exorbitant consultancy fees? Values that ground policy to be mindful of and strengthen community first. Your home, your property, your street, your community first. Principles that seek to return responsibility, freedom, and ultimately power back to the Australian people. Power should not belong with unelected bureaucrats or with elected officials. In the past, do you feel you or your community have been promised one thing by your elected member, yet their chamber vote didn't stand up to the promise or it simply wasn't delivered? Has the party come before you and before your family, neighbour and community? I am a proud and passionate advocate for rural Australia, its people, its land and water, and helping these communities survive and hopefully once again thrive. I firmly believe that the Australian people are not being listened to, respected, or truly represented, and that the answers to many challenges can be solved from the ground up by the very people directly impacted, the communities themselves. If you choose to vote for Sally Edwards, you aren't voting for me. You are voting for you, your household, and your community. You are voting to have someone who will pick up the phone and truly hear your concerns and ideas, to have someone who will have your back, and for someone who won't back down. You aren't voting for a party-powered vote. The Libertarian Party and I share these principles and values. Your vote is your ticket to you having direct input into getting rid of or shaping the policies and laws that directly impact you, your family, and your future. You might see me quote, "Your vote is your voice. Your voice matters." It is a slogan that I really believe in. I would love you to vote for me, but I'm not going to tell you to vote for me. Your vote is such an important part of being an Australian. It's both a right and a privilege. What I want nothing more is for you to vote with a knowing, with a strong gut feeling, and with passion and belief. I don't want you to vote out of fear of not wanting one major party or the other to get in. That fear is unnecessary. By truly understanding how the voting system works, you can vote with certainty of knowing where it will start and where it will end up. You can vote for your choosing candidate to best represent you, and you can also make sure that that vote stops with the major party you would prefer to see in government. If given the opportunity, I intend to be available and communicate openly and honestly, respect and genuinely listen to the people of Parkes, put community before government. I will honour the libertarian values and actively represent you. I encourage everyone to make 2025 the year that Aussies actually pay attention and step up to the ballot box with a bit more than "I don't know" or "dillygaff" attitude. Use your vote to say loud and clear what you want for your future. If you vote with that level of conviction, I've contributed to this election, regardless of the final outcome. You need to be heard, and this is how. I love Australia, and I know you do too. My values. My values are community and volunteering, family and prosperity, integrity, liberty, and freedom. I believe that rural and regional Australia have been let down by the major parties and liken rural and regional Australia to an overloaded ute. Our ute to deliver the goods and take us into the future has 4 flat tyres and a flat battery, and no amount of money to wash and shine or top up the fuel and oil will help us get back on the road. We know that rural Australia needs commitment and leadership that will fix the very problems that hold us back, that will replace the flat tyres with all-terrains and give us a new battery. We need strength and traction. Regional Australia and the Parkes electorate have been let down by major party politics. We no longer have any traction. We need honest and improved governance that will support families and communities, small business and industry, that gives us the unrestricted foundation to work towards safety, security and longevity for regional Australia. My priority considerations for Parkes are simple. To seek to protect and support a safe, secure and sustainable future for the people, for our homes and communities, for the environment, our land and water, and for the economy, business and trade. To protect and support individual freedoms and the right to live life based on your own values and beliefs. To one by one end unproductive and restrictive rules on society. To cut red tape and improve the process, one restriction, one department at a time. To work with a non-negotiable stance to demand honesty, transparency and accountability from the government and the bureaucrats to the people. To represent in a manner that works from the ground up and less from serving unbalanced and often unwarranted global commitments or under rules written by big business only to serve big business. To fight for a common sense and practical plan for future energy generation, legitimately lowering the cost for consumers and working to ensure both reliability and long-term security. To fight to end all net zero targets and seek to establish a balanced plan that is actually in the best interests of Australia and Australia's long-term future. Not a plan designed to meet global targets to reduce Australia's emissions in a panicked and unnecessary timeframe when Australia contributes less than 1% of the world's emissions. We can do better and must do better, but let's stay grounded and true to our common sense and practical abilities. To demand responsible governance of taxpayer money and deliver services effectively and efficiently in an ethical way. Funding, the spending of taxpayer money, must be transparently spent and accountable. It's no small feat, but it is that simple. We must stay actively focused on lowering the national debt to ensure safety, security and longevity for our future and our kids' future. Any policies that I will support or put forward need to tick the boxes of staying true to my values, promoting voluntary involvement from the people, and clearly support and protect families, small business, and the rural way of life. I know that I don't have all the answers myself, but will find the people who between them do. The knowledge, skills, and experience of local people are too often overlooked. Trust that this will be the first place I start. I will work hard and doggedly when I have to. I believe a strong crossbench can help balance out an oversized and often mismanaged government, and while I can't stand to promise the outcomes we work towards, I can and do stand to promise the way that I will work towards them. May you spend the next 5 weeks learning about what each candidate brings to the table. And come May the 3rd, step up to the ballot box with conviction, passion, and certainty about what matters most to you and your family's future. Thank you. Authorised by Sally Edwards, Libertarian Party, 2 Lynn Parade, Prestons, New South Wales 2170.